Good evening, everybody, and willkommen to Österreich. We've arrived here in Austria at the Red Bull Ring, and I arrived here just in time because I only just got home a minute ago. But we're here and we're ready for the race. I am Robert Ionescu, your lead commentator for the day. And just like yesterday, I'm joined by two-time top-class champion Joseph Willows. Hey there, Joe.
Hello again, back in the sweatbox for another day, but it's great to be here.
Yeah, all right.
Sweatbox
Yeah, it's
being
good
my
to see you,
bedroom.
Joe. Good to see you, Flo, as well. It's I got a little sweaty because I ran to get back home in time, but I managed to do it. And yeah, we're here in Austria after probably the greatest qualifying session in OC history. Why is that? Of course, you might ask. Because for the first time ever, we've had the top two finished with the exact same time. But if you missed yesterday, let's find out what that top two is, shall we?
Indeed, we might as well look at the grid for that.
So then, the two guys who set identical lap times on the front row are Lorenzo Tomaselli and Thomas Anderson. The graphic here is correct, as Tomaselli set his lap first. Therefore, he is credited with pole and the 4 bonus points that come with it. Thomas Anderson, as I mentioned, is second. Rahu Patel, yet again in the top 3 in qualifying. This guy is on fire right now in his form. Jamie Griffiths, P4. He finished on the podium last time out in Portimao. He'll be hoping for another one.
Daniel Adventure will start in 5th for Dams, with Jake Galloway in 6th position for MP Motorsport, followed by Aaron Curtis in 7th for Prema and Marek Kukelevich in 8th position.
Yep, that's right. Just behind him is his teammate Joel Warson, who he had another run in just like in Portimao, but this time in qualifying. They'll be hoping it doesn't happen again. I'm sure their bosses have been very explicit, telling them to prevent that. Ruslan Procik is in P10, Gabriel Coutinho P11. King of the Ring, Nicolas Zorbag. If he wants to take his 4th win, he'll have a lot to do. He'll be starting in 12th.
Thomas Bennett starts 13th, with Dudu Kirby, the championship leader, all the way down in 14th position, followed by teammate Carl Burns, who will start in 15th, and Chuck McCarthy starts in 16th for Charouz.
Yep, that's right. Henry Watzel is P17, followed by the previous championship leader, Max Skillen. Both of them have been on a good run of form, but they start further back today. Benz Waldinger, he took pole 3 races ago now in Spain. Now he's all the way down in P19. A lot of work for him to do. And Tomasz Pascual is P20.
On the back row of the grid, we have Isaac Facheray and a disappointed Dennis Graff.
Yep, indeed. Dennis Graff will be hoping for better today. We know he can gain points from the back, so let's see if he can do it again this time. Anyway, as I look for the chat, just to mute myself so I don't hear an echo right there. Mute the chat. The audio on the stream, but just so I can see the chat. We look at the weather, which is both dry, so no sort of surprises there. It's going to be a good old clean race, just clean. By clean, I mean the sky is clean. We're going to have a dry race. Let's get cracking then, shall we?
We're on the loading screen, and we should be on the grid very, very soon with this quite interesting cartoony graphic.
Yeah. Leave your predictions, guys, in the chat. Tell us who you think is going to win. But before that, it's time. Right now, it's time for 43 laps of action here at the Red Bull Ring. You got Tomaselli here, leading from Anderson in second. Who will lead into third one? We're waiting for the lights to come on. We got Freya when they go out. We'll be racing right about now. Yeah, there we go. Good launch from Patel. He might be able to get a jump on Anderson, but the second phase looks like he's got a better run. Here, Patel will have the inside on him, though. Looks like Tomaselli will hold out to the lead. This is that Galloway coming through. What a start that is from Jake Galloway. Fantastic, and there's no crash in the back. It's Watzel involved. I believe one of the artists as well. And there's a car stopped. Graffin stopped. I don't think he collected damage. But what is certain is that Henry Watzel is out of this race prematurely. As Patel is trying to move here. Backing out, though.
Indeed, what a start from Galloway. Started P6 and he's already in the lead.
We almost got another crash there, thankfully not. Now, Waldinger attempted to move there on McCarthy, I think that was, but he couldn't make it all work. But Jake Galloway, take a bow. What an incredible start that was. Did Watson have contact with Skillen?
It looks like it, because Skillen has lost a bit of front wing. Let's see, and yes, it looks like it. Like Skillen was being a little bit a bit hasty there at the start, and as a result, has lost a chunk of his front wing and taken Watson out of the race.
Yeah, he was being boxed in between a bunch of other cars, and he couldn't find himself any space. And because of that, Watson got himself knocked out. But let's see Galloway start. He started all the way from P6 with an incredible dive bomb and just took the lead. I've only seen this sort of move work in IFMC, but I've finally seen it here in GP4 OC GP2.
Yeah, indeed, an absolutely amazing start from Galloway yet again as they make their way down the hill. You can see that Griffiths is all over the back of Tomaselli, the pole sitter, with Anderson keeping in touch at the moment with Galloway.
Yeah, looks like Griffiths had to make a little twitch there, and it helped Patel get a little bit closer, as well as Protsuk is happy to Tev. Kalevich is at down the level where I think his teammate Warson is a little up front. Yeah, he is at 7th.
So we make our way down towards the last two corners as Patel looking to the inside.
Something into red, but that's not gonna work.
Probably gonna have to wait till the pit straight as Burns gets through there on Zorbak. Zorbak's not had the best of starts on a track that he's usually quite good at.
Yeah, so it seems. Now then, Anchor is trying to move on Rahul Patel. Can he make it work? And the answer is no, he can't. This could help Joe Warson pass him. And there's a big crash here! Bennett and Kalevich! Bennett and Kalevich have collided. And Kalevich is certainly out, but I think Bennett can't keep going, albeit with damage.
Bennett's got damage, and Bennett's luck continues as he's stuck behind Kalevich, having to wait for him to be towed over the barrier, but finally he's released free. But again, more carnage here at Austria.
Yeah, we got our second retirement of the day, and already we've only just started the second lap. And Kalevich, I don't think he had much he could do. Bennett just went into a gap that wasn't there anymore. And the price of that became Kalevich is right here.
Indeed, as you saw there, Bennett just being able to get himself released there. As Skillen is into the pits to repair his front wing now. And
yeah, indeed.
So that's that really. I've noticed as well the Damsers have got some personal sponsors now. Daniel Adventure's got DHL as a sponsor now. And
I believe Evan's done some work on deliveries, and
yes.
I must say that it looks nice. Anyway, Galloway, his start was fantastic, but it looks like his pace isn't that awesome because Thomas Anderson is pressuring him hard already.
Indeed, as Skillen I think has just finished his pit stop, and as he comes out on the track, as Anderson still keeping up with Galloway at the moment. The battle for the lead continuing.
Meanwhile, Griffiths has pulled away from Rahul Patel by quite some, almost 2 seconds. As we almost got contact there, but thankfully you didn't, between Adventure and Watterson, and the pole has to back down a bit.
Graf on the inside of Valdinger. Can he get the move done? He's on the inside. Does he make the way side by side into Van der Corner?
Yeah.
And Graf gets the move done.
Yeah, nicely executed there. Now let's see if Anderson can dive it into Remus. Probably not. Speaking of dives, Griffiths could be going up 4-1. Can he get through to Marcelli? Looks like he can.
Yep, that's a beautiful move from Griffiths. Got the move executed perfectly. Here comes Anderson now on Galloway.
Anderson could go for the lead. Is he going to make it work? Galloway shuts the door and Anderson has to back out.
And able to do so is Patel now on the inside of Tomaselli.
He was 2 seconds down from this guy, but Tomaselli's exit from Remus was really bad, and it's helped Patel goes right up.
So that the pole sitter has now dropped 4 places as a result. And yeah, Patel just taking full advantage there of the lack of traction Tomaselli had as a result of getting pinched there by Griffiths.
And I think Tomaselli went wide again here into turn 3.
Oh, that's probably because Patel got by him there, but anyway.
Yeah,
indeed. Meanwhile,
Anderson's clearly not taking any prisoners. He doesn't want to wait, as Galloway had a little bit of a snap of oversteer there through the fast left-hander of Wirth. Anderson gets game now into turn 8. No, he's having to back off. Skillen is now back out on track, and Bennett will rejoin. It won't be a proper hindrance for these guys, at least for now. But Anderson has a lot of pace in that Dark Grand Prix car.
Still not close enough to get him there into turn 1 as Patel sets the fastest lap there as he goes in pursuit of Griffiths yet again.
He's found a lot of extra pace. The guy was 2 seconds down on Griffiths. Now he's trying to tweak the gap back down again. As Anderson is going for the outside, that's probably not going to work unless he can switch it. No.
Through Williams we go now. Then, as meantime, Adventure still attacking Watterson right now, but Watterson able to fend him off at this point in time. And they need to be careful as well in case Proxy decides to close up.
Yeah, well said. Meanwhile, Anderson looks like he's not trying anything on this lap, but Carl Burns you can't say the same about him because he's all over the back of Gabriel Quintino. Can he send it, get past him towards Schlossgold, sorry. No.
Thought about it, but didn't quite make it work. Dudu Kirby thinking about a move on Zorbak as they go side by side out the turn, but Zorbak just able to fend off at this point in time.
Yeah, good defending from the man who's got the most wins here. Now, in towards turn 8, Anderson's not going to have the grip or the momentum, so he's going to have to wait a little longer. But how long can he afford to wait? Because I can bet Griffiths and Patel are faster in Galloway as well, and they'll be trying to close up. Can Anderson take the lead in towards turn 1 now?
His best chance. And yes, he's done it.
Yeah, Thomas Anderson up in the lead of the race. As now Tomasey finds himself under pressure from Curtis, who's going to the inside. Ooh, that was so close. But Tomasey manages to keep him back. Oh, contact there! Quintino at the burst. Burst is forced wide. And Quintino has retaken the place.
That is what we call in the OC a bump and run.
Yeah.
So as you can see, in fact, Burns actually got the move done beforehand there into the second to last corner, but then Quintino was able to get some momentum out the turn. Probably was a little bit too optimistic though, as you can see from here, because he's a bit far back, gets a bit too late, and then Burns moves over to the last minute, and then contact was inevitable.
Yeah, Burns couldn't have gone any further to the left to try to avoid a collision. It looks like Zorba got forced wide as well. As Kirby overtook him.
As you can see, well, in fact, no, he hasn't passed him yet. Zorbak just able to fend off, but it could put him under pressure. Remus is now Curtis is going
again. Now he's got him. And Tomaselli having to concede. Warsaw could get a strong exit and maybe chase him down. And look at this. Zorbak in the fight with the Ardens. He's being sandwiched by them. As now, Warsaw staying tight behind Tomaselli. Kurtz moving a lot to defend his newly acquired position and manages to keep it for now. Now Burns is under pressure from Zorbak for that P10 spot.
Yeah, indeed, as meantime Tomaselli still not giving up on Curtis as he was having to defend there, going into Roush, I think it's pronounced Roush there, and then through to Worth.
Yeah, Bennett's the fastest lap after his pit stop, of course. And I must say, even though Curtis took the position, he hasn't been able to pull away. He hasn't shaken off Tomaselli yet, and that could come back to bite him. Or maybe not, because he keeps him behind.
To see if he's able to keep that up there on the straight. As meantime, Kirby on the inside of Zorbak. Can he get 12th this time from the German? No, he can't. The championship leader has to hold off for the time being. As Protzi's got a problem!
Just like in Portimao, a mechanical problem hits him again. But this time he was able to pit. But what was it? It's a puncture! That came out of nowhere, and you'll be happy it didn't happen in one of the fast corners.
Indeed. But unlucky for Ruslan Protzi, a chance of more points here down the toilet yet again.
Yeah, it looks like a slow puncture anyway, but he'll be thankful he's able to come through and pit. Yeah,
but I don't think he'll be looking.
One of his rears.
Oh, that was
so tight.
There.
Ferris keeps him back, and maybe this time he can finally pull away from Tomaselli.
I was about to say before that happened, really. I don't think it's going to really help Protzi's strategy that much because he is coming in quite early. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is a two-stop now that he's going to be put on due to the fuel tanks of these.
As we look at his fast right attacking to the Kirby, who clearly couldn't get past Zorbak. He's now having to defend himself.
Look at this. Adventure now. Look at this. Can he get 2 places? There you go.
What a dive! Incredible stuff from Adventure. He's able to P6 with that move. And it looks like Warson will be passing Tomaselli as well. But let's see a replay of this.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Adventure taking advantage of the little chop there that Tomaselli gave on Watson there, and because he was able to get his car just about alongside, he was able to dive it up into Remus and get the position. It looks like Watson might be able to get Tomaselli here. Tomaselli just not got any pace so far since the start.
I'm going for a
bit of contact there.
Yeah, and about that Adventure's overtake, Joe, I'd like to say, I believe you Brits have a word for it. It's called bloody good, and this contact wasn't bloody good because that Pashko was pushed to the back of the car in front, but thankfully no damage for either of these guys.
We do like to say the word bloody quite a lot, let's put it that way. So, anyway, as Pascal now then trying to have a look at Quintino. Quintino fends off there. More contact there between Graf and Baldinger, but luckily...
Had to jam on the brakes and lock up, but thankfully nothing came out of it much.
Time Griffiths is starting to close on Galloway a bit, and he's also looks like he's dragging Patel with him.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Galloway used up all his juice for that amazing start. I can't blame it. Certainly delivered quite a spectacle. But now, from the Hunter, he's going to have to deal with being the hunted. As Pascual is making a move on McCarthy, can he get past him in towards turn 8? No.
McCarthy just able to fend off at this point, and it brings Graf back into that battle with Pascal, who he made a little bit of contact with just earlier on. Let's see if he can try and keep it clean this time. He's in the slipstream of the Portuguese driver, trying to look to the inside, but obviously hasn't got the overlap unless he can perform a wicked dive bomb, which he's not going to do. He's going to think better of it.
Yeah, he just backed it out the entire time. As now Pascual has a good run on Chuck McCarthy. Looks like he's pulled out of the slipstream early and could have a crack at him in towards Ramos. Through the flat out king. He's gonna have the inside, but backs out strangely.
Wasn't able to perform the switch back there, as Griffiths closing right even more now, and Galloway starting to get right onto the rear now of the MP Motorsport car.
Joe, I have to say, Anderson isn't pulling away that much, which is very strange.
But yeah, it's definitely surprising indeed. I wonder if Griffiths and Patel have got a little bit more pace, like you were mentioning a little bit earlier on, or whether Galloway's starting to get some pace back onto Anderson.
The case at least at the very moment. It's definitely strange, but Anderson will be hoping he can manage this race and increase his advantage.
As they make their way through the final turn, as Graf now again trying to have a go at Pascal. Can he get it done into the second to last corner? He's trying to think about it, but again isn't able to do so.
No, not quite.
Coming out of the final turn now then, as it's still 1.5 at the moment between Anderson and Galloway at this point in time. As Pascal defends their Graf now. They get it done. So
close to contact. This will be a prime time for Waldinger to strike. He had the run from Graf's slipstream, and Graf himself had a pretty compromised exit. Can Waldinger send into the inside switching? He switches, but he doesn't dive.
It looked like Graf got on the brakes a little bit later there to prevent the dive bomb from potentially happening. As he now tries to get back on the prowl of Pascal. Griffiths not really closing up to Galloway as much as I would have thought at the moment. It is under a second, but he's not within a range where he could possibly try and overtake him at the moment.
About Waldinger earlier, I think his brakes might have overheated a bit after the lockup from earlier, so he just wanted to be more cautious this time. And I can't blame him really, as it looks like Graf will be pressuring Pascal again.
Yep, but whether he'll be able to pull off the move this time we'll have to wait and see. As we ride on board with the German, the Williams test driver, who was obviously running a little bit early today, in fact, in practice, as he now tries to have a look, but again, Pascal covers him off, and Anderson's starting to get the gap back up now, by the way. It's up to 1.8 seconds.
Yeah, he's gained 3 tenths, but also Galloway's pulled away just a tiny little bit from Griffiths, so he's managing to hold him off for now.
Yep, as just in front of these two, it looks like there may be a battle for 13th starting to develop very soon between Vacheray and McCarthy. We'll have to wait and see on that.
Yeah, Graf you can see McCarthy right there in front of these guys. But if he'll pull the move off or not, it remains to be seen. Griffiths is losing time yet again to Galloway. He's a second down, and throws 1.3 down on him.
Yep, so it looks like Galloway's starting to pick up the pace a little bit. It says over a second at the moment between Griffiths
and look at Griffiths' fuel load. He'll be going longer in this race. Good work to his benefit in the second stint, but right now it means he's having to deal with being a little slower than Galloway.
As they now make their way towards the final 2 turns. And, well, it is under a second again now, but let's see if he's able to keep that off. I've noticed, because I did notice this a bit earlier, I wonder if there is strengths and weaknesses between Galloway and Griffiths around this track. Like, in some areas, Galloway is stronger, in others, Griffiths is stronger. And that's why we're seeing some...
You raise a really good point there, Joe, and yeah, I think so. We'll just have to look at it sector by sector, see who's getting where. As Corby is closing into a back on Zorba, I don't think he'll make the move. But someone who could make the move is McCarthy. Here he goes, can he pass Vacheray? No.
Thinking about it, Vacheray goes a tad bit wide, but he's just going to be able to hold off. So maybe a run to Remus as Dudu Kirby again is attacking Nicolas Zorbach. Can he get him up towards the Remus curve?
For it. Zorbach shuts the door. This could get very close. Thankfully, no contact, and Zorbach stays ahead. But McCarthy, can he pull it off? Yes, this time.
McCarthy up into 13th, and that's allowed Pascal and Graf to get on the back of these two as well.
Yeah, but look, Vacheray got a decent chunk of slipstream. I don't think he'll be able to attack, but he's definitely scaring McCarthy there. He's diving for it, but dive is all he did. He couldn't actually get the place back.
Oh, as now we look back at the second place, the gap kind of stabilised at the moment between the two. And,
looks like Patel is pacing himself as well. He's taking nicely on a 1.3 behind Griffiths.
As yeah, still roughly around the 9th, 10th to a second mark between Galloway and Griffiths. So probably both of them lapping around the same pace as each other at this point. As Fastray again trying to get back at, at McCarthy, but isn't going to quite work it out. And now Pascal fancies his chances.
Now Zorbach and Corby go at it for another round, and I think Corby has the biggest chance yet to make it work this time, and he passes Zorbach now.
PLM for him is now Pascal on the inside of Fastray. It's going to be P14 for the Portuguese driver. He's still going to be remain side by side on the exit there. I think Adventure just able to hold off. Sorry, Fastray able to hold off at that point in time. As now Graf trying to get back in on Pascal now. Can he possibly get him into?
He'll have a good shot, but he's going to have to dive. Pascal shuts the door. Watch out here. And nothing happens.
And it looks like Graf took a little bit too much curb, and it allows Valdinger to get back on the prowl of him.
Yeah, Kelly have a run on him in towards Schlossgold. Graf is definitely moving a lot to the fence. Will Valdinger send it? He had no choice there to back out.
As they come out of the turn now then. Meantime, Anderson starting lap 12 of the race as he continues to put in a little bit of a cushion between himself and Galloway at this point. Well, it was down to 2.3 seconds that time by, but the gap's still quite sizable.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Galloway was able to claw back a 10th in the last sector, but the margins are very thin, I must say.
Through Remus now then, as we try and see what the gap is like again between Anderson and Galloway, or we won't, because Valdinger, I don't think he's close enough that time by to get to Graf. I think Graf has just got enough ahead of him to stay in front up into the Nicky Lauda curve.
Yeah, indeed.
Now through the...
I want to look at these guys' fuel, because Anderson appears to be fuel the lightest of these guys.
He's on 11.6.
Galloway's a little lighter than him. I know Griffiths is still heavier. What about Patel?
14.5 and 10.5. So it looks like Patel and Galloway have got a similar fuel load going on there. So they might be pitting at roughly the same time. Yeah,
so the two Englishmen could trigger an undercut on the cars in front of them. It'll be interesting to see. This is exactly... I think Anderson has been forewarned, and that's why he's pushing to build that gap.
Meantime, it looks like Tomaselli's starting to get away a bit from Watterson now. And it looks like the pack is starting to separate itself a little bit, just calming itself down into a rhythm, maybe getting themselves to the mandatory pit stop stage of the race after all the overtakes that were going on in the early stages.
Yeah, I agree.
As now they go up towards Remus now then. Griffiths starting to drop back a bit now from Galloway. The gap 1.4 seconds, although Patel looks like he's starting to gain back.
Yeah, it's getting a little bit closer, but I don't think anyone wants to make a decisive attack right now. There's still plenty of time left in this race. And these guys have calmed down somewhat. But that's only temporary. I'm pretty sure big fights will resume later on in this race. It's only a matter of when, not if.
Yeah, probably after the mandatory pit stop stage, unless somebody makes a mistake within these next few laps. We run more with Galloway, who's losing a little bit more time to Thomas Anderson. The gap 2.5 seconds between them. And we'll have to see if that happens to be the same after this sector. And he's gained a bit back on that sector, but
Galloway had a personal best in Sector 1, but he couldn't replicate in S2. He was a temp down his personal best, but still gained the temp for Thomas Anderson for there.
The final turn as Anderson starts lap 14 of 43 now then. Meantime, the gap between Watterson and Quintino is 7/10 of a second, with Byrne 6/10 behind Quintino. Quintino at the moment in the points so far. He's obviously had a bit of a shaky season so far, it must be said, and looking to bounce back if he can here at Austria.
Yeah, he'll be hoping that happens. And today could be his big day, we'll see. As for Ramos, we're seeing these guys go, but that looks a little bit closer to Griffiths than he was before. But I don't think it'll be crucial or anything.
Not that much he's gained by. I think they're just basically trading lap time at this point. As now heading down the hill towards Schlossgold. As meantime we look at Zorbach, who locks up a bit going into Remus there. It's not been the best of days for the Master of Austria, it must be said.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Looks like the king will lose his crown, at least for this season. But I think his priority now is just to focus on points. With his strategy, he might be able to get some. Let's look at Bennett fighting with Skillen. Two guys who are a bit naughty in the early laps, fighting each other. And Bennett is through.
Up into P19. I think he still currently holds the fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken, unless somebody took that away. As they make the way up the hill. 2.7 seconds is the gap now between Anderson and Galloway, nearly 2.8 to be exact.
Looks like he's picked up the pace a bit again, Thomas Anderson.
Still quite a bit away from the mandatory pit stop stage at this point in time, so things have started, as we mentioned, a couple of laps ago.
We'll get the stops around about lap 21 or 22, which should be the halfway stage anyway, so yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see on that. Gap's still around 1.1 between Griffiths and Patel. Let's see if anything changes as they come out the last sector or not. It looks like Pascal might be locking up, which he does a bit, but he's still gaining a bit now onto Fashere, and looks like he wants to try and take 14th from him if he can.
Yeah, the lockup didn't seem to harm him much at all. And now Kirby, he passed Zorbach, he's trying to pass his teammate up next, Kyle Burns, and he almost ran into the back of him there.
I wonder if there's going to be team orders at Arden, given that Kirby's the championship leader. We'll have to wait and see. As they now go up towards Remus, as Pascal wasn't able to get Adventure into the braking zone there, as he'll now try again into Schlossgold, and it looks like I don't think he's close enough that time by to try and get the move done as Kirby again tries to attack his own teammate for P10.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Zorbach was on a personal best meanwhile. So let's see if he'll be able to close up to these guys, though he's a bit back. Anyway, Kirby's getting a good run through Wurth. As Fashere goes very wide there.
Like he was having to fend off a bit there from Pascal. Is Kirby now on the inside of Burns? Can he get the move done into the second left turn? No, not quite. And let's see if he can try and get him into turn one as Pascal tries to have a go at Fashere. He's not got the overlap, so Fashere would just be able to fend off. Here comes Kirby now on the inside of Burns. Can he get the move done into the first corner as he goes on the inside of his American teammate?
No.
No, not quite. Burns just able to fend off, although he didn't get the best of exit.
Pretty bad, yeah, as you said, Joe. And I think Kirby might be able to get him into Remus. He's already moving a lot. He's being very aggressive. No team orders here. They're just racing each other.
I wasn't able to get in. I think this has now allowed Zorbach to get back on the problem, and even McCarthy as well. As now Pascal looking to the inside into Remus to try and get by on Fashere, but Fashere covers him off, and he's just going to fend the position.
Yeah, indeed. Good defending there from the Brit, and he's managed to keep his Portuguese challenger at bay.
Through the right end we go. Kirby wasn't close enough there to get a move on Burns at this point in time, but
as I've just finished my burger, it was good. So now I can focus 100% on commentary. As we got an engine! Blown engine for Bennett. His race has come to a very early end, and it's gone from bad to worse today.
His miserable luck continues, it seems, as Bennett slows down. The leaders are coming up to him. They should be able to avoid him. As he spins!
And there's the wheel as well.
Off the wheels far away
Anderson
anyway,
had to slow down a little bit. Yeah, the wheel isn't on track. Galloway slowed down as well, not so much, but he still did.
Well,
look at this, Kirby's gunning for the pass. His teammate might go wide. He didn't.
And now that could allow Zorbach to get to him, but there is a yellow flag. He needs to be careful that he doesn't try and make a pass.
He's now in the yellow flag zone. And McCarthy looks like he'll be trying to attack as well. Who will make a move?
No one, because they're backing off of the yellow flag.
I think they're actually trying to avoid the car that was stuck on the inside, you know.
Yeah, of course, of Bennett. And let's see where specifically the water leak happened. It's a little bit further. It actually happened just before the second to last corner.
Yeah, let's make double sure. Yeah, that's where it happened. There was no point in pitting, so he just brought it home. I mean, didn't bring it home. Just found a safe spot to retire and retired it there. And then made it very unsafe by crashing into the wall.
Yeah, indeed, as he was bounced, but as the wheel kind of bounced him back across the track, really. But luckily for him, it bounced him away from the racing line, so Anderson and the rest of the leaders weren't able to collect him.
Yeah. Bennett, though, has one saving grace, I guess you could call it, because for now he still holds the fastest lap. So if nobody takes away from him, he will have 2 points. But there's still a long way to go. Anyone can take it away.
Skillen now finds himself all on his own now, down 19th as he's 24 seconds off of Protzi and continuing to lose time to him.
That little misadventure, the yellow flag, helped Anderson. He's increased his lead over Galloway to 3.3 seconds.
Meantime, McCarthy is starting to gain onto... meantime, unseen by the cameras, Graf has passed Pascal.
I don't think that was under yellow, so it should be all good.
I don't think we saw the overtake. Must have been before turn 1, because we didn't see it happen on the camera. Because last time we saw, it was actually at the exit here, look, of Remus. The Remus.
That was the first time we've seen it today. Pascal tried to get fast rate back then. His exit was absolutely compromised. And that allowed Graf to just sneak in there.
Indeed, so Graf has gained a place, but he's still 5 places away from the points at this point in time.
Yeah, just gotta take him one at a time. And this Graf is making progress in this race. That much is clear.
Indeed, as we now get back to real time. But
Looks like
Pascal's
Pascal
still
is
sticking.
closing back out to him again. This will be interesting. As McCarthy is going for a move on Zorbach into towards turn 8. He can't pull it off as the yellows have been lifted. So no more restrictions there. Pascal trying to go for it, but having to back out there. Now McCarthy's getting a great run on Zorbach. He's moving a lot to try to cover him off. I don't think he'll be successful.
McCarthy is through into 12th position. He was just able to get the overlap as Pascal fakes to the left, goes to the right. Can he get the place back off Graf?
No, Graf's got deep though a little bit. All 4 wheels of the white line there for a second. And it's going to help Pascal with a good exit.
As they now make their way up towards Remus, can Pascal getting back up to Remus now? The yellows are gone. He's looking to the inside, and yes, he can. There's a big lock up there from Graf.
He slowed down early. His progress has been hindered. He's going to have to do all that hard work again.
He's getting back onto the prowl of Pascal. Can he get him back into Slosh Gold? He's looking to the inside. Pascal's not really defending.
Might be able to pull it off. It's going to be close. No Hamilton on our Albon shenanigans here, though, as Pascal keeps him behind.
Or even a Norris Perez situation or a Perez Leclerc situation. But anyway,
yeah.
As now coming
basically
out
a lot of shenanigans have happened at that corner, but thankfully none of that sort this time.
As we now look back at the race leader, Thomas Anderson, who'll probably be pitting in around about, I'd say, 2 to 3 laps time for the mandatory pit stop. We'll have to wait and see on that. Yeah, I guess
that's a good estimate. As Galloway's got 4 laps of fuel left in his wagon, as does Patel, who's getting closer and closer to Jamie Griffiths.
Yeah, it's now under a second between the pair. It's now down to 8 tenths, so Patel's starting to get his foot down a little bit, maybe to try and see if he can get close before the mandatory pit stop stage, because at the moment he's not really in range to go for an overtake.
No, but he could get him with the undercut if he manages it well and if he doesn't catch any traffic. That's the one big danger of going for the undercut, because if you don't have the gap to other cars, and in a spec series like this, you're probably not going to have the gap. You can expose yourself if you don't emerge in a clean spot.
Going through the final 2 turns now then, as we look at Anderson now then. Obviously, the guys behind him have got, well, apart from Griffiths, have got lighter fuel than him, so I wonder when they're going to be pitting. They're obviously going to be pitting a bit before him, that being Galloway and Patel, and it's going to be this lap. So I would imagine, yep, Patel and Galloway are coming in this lap. The mandatory pit stop stages have begun.
That should mean we'll see Anderson dive in next lap. Anyway, this will be a big lap for Patel.
Yeah. As now we look at Anderson, who's got a 4-second lead now on Galloway, as Patel continues to gain onto Griffiths, and we're looking to try and jump him in the pits before Griffiths makes his stop, which will be in about a couple of laps.
Back at it again for his teammate Carl Burns. He's unable to get him into Lauda, but he could have a chance on the long run up to Remus.
He tries to have a look.
Is he going to go right? No, he's not going right. Had to back out early into the fat ladder kink of 2.
As Graf getting closer to Pascal, but he's not going to be close enough to get him up into Remus. And obviously Pascal able to fend him off there as a result, as the 2 BWT Ardens continue to scrap it out for 10th position, as Burns continues to fend off from the championship leader.
Anderson will pass the pit lane entry very shortly, which means we'll be seeing Galloway and Patel diving right about now. Galloway slows down
Griffiths
for the
goes
pit lane entry. Griffiths passes him. And now Jack Galloway and Rahul Patel make their first stop of the race and the first scheduled stops of anybody.
So let's see how quick these stops are going to be then for the MP Motorsport and Univirtual OC Mechanics. As Galloway pulls into his box as the first mandatory pit stops get underway. A change of tyres and some set of fuel, which of course will take him to the end because it's only a 1 stop in this race unless you've got damage earlier on in the race like a couple of people did. 7.9 seconds.
What about Patel's stop, I wonder? Was it quicker perhaps? We can't actually see just yet, but it looks like these guys could be in for a little bit of traffic. As Corby has made not made an overtake, but rather defended from Sean McCarthy.
As it was 4 tenths slower of Galloway's stop that it was for Patel, 8.3 seconds to be exact. As they rejoin roughly down the field. Not ideally where they want to be because there is traffic around them. So not really ideal. So that could play into
Yeah, but
Griffiths'
not,
hands a little bit in
at
his
least
battle
for
with
now,
Patel.
it's not immediately in front. But yeah.
Yeah, so now we come down towards right-hander. Zorbach continues to harry down McCarthy. And
Looks like he's got some newfound pace, and he'll be trying his best to use it to catch up and pass these guys. As we have the leader in, Thomas Anderson's come in. He's led most of the first stint. Now he's gonna concede the lead as he comes into the pits. Fresh set of tires and fuel. Again, to the end comfortably, 25 laps, more than enough. And Anderson, 7.4 second stop, quickest we've seen so far today. It's a good effort for him, as Joe Warson will be coming into the pits right now.
5 tenths quicker than Galloway's pit stop. He should come out still in the lead, and in fact he's going to get out in front of a whole bunch of cars, so that plays it well into him. So Anderson will continue to lead the race. I think it actually could be a little bit
closer, because here is Burns, and if you remember, just behind Burns is Dudu Corby, although he's a little bit further back this time. Can Burns get Anderson here? That could be a big hindrance for the virtual race leader. And no, he was able to hold him off. That could be big.
Meantime, Potsy trying to have a go at Valdinger. He's closed him back in, but isn't able to get the move done, as Watson, of course, is in the pits himself. And I think he may have just rejoined. And
yeah, you can see him out there on the mini-map. A little bit down, but he'll be pushing to make his strategy work. Meanwhile, Griffiths has a 4.7 lead over Aaron Curtis. Both of them are yet to pit, of course. But Curtis has been a pretty much unsung hero of this race. I don't say hero per se, but he's been there in the top 5 and he's had solid pace. Maybe even better than Griffiths, I'm not sure.
Meanwhile, Patel trying to get by on Fashere, and he needs to get by him quickly because, of course, he is in the battle with Jamie Griffiths for that final podium place. As Patel
if he wants to jump the Welshman, the Englishman is going to have to make the move right now on his fellow compatriot. He's having the inside into 9, but it has to back out.
McCarthy, meanwhile, comes into the pits for Charouz, as is Daniel Adventure, who's also into the pits as well.
7.3 stop is done. And now Patel. Is that Pascual passing him? It is. Oh, this is bad for Rahul Patel. It's bad news.
Yep, this is playing into the hands very nicely for Jamie Griffiths right now. As
I'm not so much of a conspiracy guy, but I think Patel right now would be asking how much did he pay this Pascual dude?
Who knows really? As McCarthy finishes his pit stop, it's a very slow stop. In fact, I wonder if he had a bit of a delay.
Yeah, 11.8
from his mechanics there. It's an 8-second
we might have to
stop.
take a replay. Grass stop was okay, so let's see. Where was the problem, if at all?
Oh, look. It's the rear left. It's the rear left. Look, you can just about see they had trouble getting it off and then getting it on again. So issues there with McCarthy's pit stop.
Yeah, mess with stop, and looks like Joe McCarthy will lose a couple of places as a result.
As meantime, we look at Galloway, who's right on the back of Zorbach and looking to dispose of him as quickly as possible. Meantime, his teammate,
look how much lead he's got over Rahul Patel in the meantime. Patel has dropped quite back from Galloway.
As Valdinger fending off a bit there from I can't remember who that was.
That was Adventure. He's just coming out of the pits. So he's got fresh tires, but he's gonna have to use them and make sure he doesn't get impeded. Now
as Tomaselli is now in the pits.
And Galloway will be trying to get Zorbach into his turn 8. Can he pull it off? Let's see. Zorbach defending hard. This could be the same situation as Patel, and it is.
As Tomaselli is now into his box, and
23 laps worth of fuel. Oh, he's got someone coming in. He might have to wait. He does. He waits for Fashere, and Tomaselli's stop has been slowed down even further. He'll be jumped by Adventure 100%.
Holding is still having to fend off from Adventure.
Matsuk is in, and Fashere looks like he's had a slow stop there.
Tomaselli, meanwhile, rejoins behind Watterson as now Adventure fancies his chances on Valdinger now. As he gets the move done.
Nice to meet you. He's had the tire advantage as well. So no real trouble for the pole. Let's see how much more he can keep pushing as the two leaders are in. Perfect and close to the together. Oh, doesn't work now. I noticed there was a problem earlier, so that's why I was trying to fix it. And I think I might have fixed it
Top
now.
two are in. Top two are now
check.
in.
Yeah, they
That
are.
works. Griffiths now then. Let's see if he's able to stay out in front of Patel as a result of what happened to Patel on his out laps.
He might yet be able to jump Galloway, as a matter of fact, as Contino has now inherited the lead, but Anderson's going to try to pass him. And can you hear me? Just confirming.
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right. Has Griffiths done enough to get the jump? I think he might about have done, because here is Zorbach, his teammate, keeping Galloway behind, and Griffiths is in front.
Oh, in fact, yeah, Griffiths, yeah, jumped in front of Galloway. I didn't realise that, but yeah.
Yeah, Griffiths was never in front of him, but he is now. And that means the only guy who could stop Griffiths from getting the win is Thomas Anderson, who is currently in a little bit of a ding-dong fight with Gabriel Quintino, is yet to come in, as Pascual is in.
As they now come out onto the track, does Pascal? He rejoins in 17th. I wonder if Skillen's got a bit of a weaving glitch going on, as Anderson is still stuck behind Quintino.
He's got a 4-second lead over Corby, and over there on the minimap behind Corby, you'll be able to see the likes of Griffiths and Zorbach. Zorbach isn't a factor in this race. Oh man. And Zorbach is a factor in this
now
fight
then on
for
the
win.
inside.
Griffiths definitely is. And Anderson, this is costing him precious time because it'll be about 2 more laps before Quintino makes his stop. And it could unwittingly be helping Jamie Griffiths out.
Anderson looks to the inside now then of Quintino. Can he get the move done? And no, he can't.
No, he slowed down drastically over there. And this will help Griffiths wonders. As now Galloway's making a move on Zorbach. We got yellows. Who is it for? It's Gallagher. He was coming into the pits and he's crashed it. Crashed it with who, or did he crash it on his own? I'm not quite sure. But he is out, still trying to steer clear, but the marshal has got to him.
Whether that was a mistake or whether he hit, so it looks like he got hit by Watterson there, and it's the typical pit lane entrance.
Yeah, Watterson, how did he not take damage from that?
I have no idea, but either way, Valdinger, thanks to the turning circle, is out of the race.
Yeah, indeed. Big hit there, big wreck. He was just gonna come into the pits either way, but now he wrecked it into the wall, and he will be coming into the pits, but he'll be staying there. He won't be getting back out on track anytime soon.
Kirby's coming into the pits this lap, the championship.
Skillen's weaving glitch is most likely because of Protiok's Pancha.
All right, okie dokie then, I got it. Anyway, look at the race leader, Gabriel Quintino. Yet to pit, of course. Holding up Thomas Anderson. You can see Dodo Kirby is 3.8 behind. And Griffiths, he shouldn't be too far down either. Griffiths is about 5 seconds down on Anderson. So watch that gap, because now Anderson's still failing to make the move. This is costing him yet more time as Griffiths gets past effortless from Kirby. He'll be thankfully made that move early because Kirby was coming in. We could have had another Valdinger situation, but thankfully we didn't. Now Anderson going for the move on Quintino. He's getting desperate there, I must say. And Griffith is just 3 seconds down now. Anderson could be throwing away this race. Look at Curtis. He's in the fire as well, Galloway. And I think Curtis got past Patel. He did. Curtis has got past Rahul Patel. Where did he get him?
That was unseen by the cameras. So we'll have to see on that.
Looks like he got him with the overcut.
Have to see. And
yeah, he was in front of Patel the entire time. Aaron Curtis, the unsung hero of this race. Now, really, he is an unsung hero because he can be challenging for the podium if he passes Jake Galloway.
Indeed. As meantime, now then, we've got was that Kirby that just came out of his box there.
Yeah, it was. Now then, Galloway having to defend from both Curtis and Patel. This fight is heating up. Now what's going to happen here, I wonder? Galloway defending.
This is a replay.
Is Patel going to dive? He's diving on Curtis.
About it. Nope.
Having to slow down there. Unlucky for the Brit. As now Kirby is getting out.
I was just a little bit concerned there about Anderson, but it looks like Gabriel Quintino's got a gap, so I don't think a pit issue is going to happen between these two, but we will see.
No, but he might have another sort of issue, because Jamie Griffiths is now just 2 seconds down and can be challenging for the race win.
Hang on.
He's going to attack. This could be a bad call. Let's see what happens here. Are they going to crash? No, they're not. Thank goodness.
It's like he got alongside enough for Quintino to get scared there.
Yeah, guys knows in front, and Quintino realized the danger, and he just slowed down, and then dived into the pits when he was safe. Griffiths went past him at high speed, and now it's a straight-up fight between these guys. Anderson thought he was comfortable in the first stint. Now he's in a whole lot of danger as Galloway almost running into the back of Zorbach there. Curtis could take advantage on the outside. Patel is there as his adventure. It's a four-way fight for all be a podium spot.
Yep, as now Curtis is trying to have a go there. Patel had to back out.
Watch for adventure. He'll be attacking Patel. He'll be diving for the inside. How many places can he take here? This will be big. If he can make it, he can't make it.
Oh, as Curtis is trying his best to get back on the prow of...
You know, I believe Quintino's had a 6.8 second stop. As now Curtis, can he go for the podium and pass Galloway? It goes the Irishman. Not close enough.
Wasn't able to pull it off there. As meantime, Kirby now on the back of Quintino, who's just finished his pit stop. He joins in 11th, but now here comes his fellow BTCC champion, who dives it down the inside to get into 11th.
Nicely done. The championship leader takes that position.
Skilling
coming in. Let's see if this fixes his
it will do.
His little weaving glitch.
Yep.
It will do because he's in the pits. So, but this is his second stop, of course, because he obviously had damage a little bit earlier on.
Rotio's car will be a problem.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think he's got to pit again, hasn't he? Because
anyway,
he had a problem
Griffiths
earlier,
is very close. Yeah. No, I think. Wait. No, he's definitely got enough fuel to go to the end, Ruslan Protsiuk. So this is interesting.
Okay.
He did pit twice already, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, let's take a look at this because we got to fight for the lead. It's Anderson against Griffiths. Griffiths has done an incredible job while Anderson was held up behind Quintino. And now let's see if he can carry that job all the way and overtake him. These guys have a massive gap to Jake Galloway. 15 seconds down. How did he lose that much time? I mean, we know how. But anyway, Dukurbi will dive down the inside, almost touching McCarthy. That was a heck of a scare. And it's now Pascual trying to move on Fasheray. Forcing him a little wide, but unable to take the position.
Oh, as meantime, Graf now then trying to get by. It's going to be 3 wide. Can he get 2 places here?
Quintino had to back out. Yeah, just the one there. And then Graf is up into 12th place. 2 places away from some points. Let's see if he can get them. It's now Pascual finally diving past Fasheray. He's got to move down there. Protsiuk is trying to get involved as well, as is Zorbach.
Yep, he obviously taking advantage of that earlier stop, so he now finds himself back on some more traffic as a result, although he did catch up to Valdinger earlier on in the race. As meantime, the gap between the top two, 5/10 of a second, 4 tenths now, as Quintino there made a little bit of an error, but managed to get it corrected.
They're in
as
the
battle
one
for
right now,
third
I'd
continues.
say. Yeah, indeed, the venture on the back of Patel. These guys have lost touch a bit to Curtis and Galloway, so there's now 2 distinct battles.
Curtis on the inside of Galloway. Is this going to be P3? Can he get the move done? Yes, he can.
Yeah, personal best lap for him, and now he's on the podium. Adventure, he can't get Patel here though, so the Brit keeps him behind. Now Corby, the championship leader, can he get into the points?
Looking to the inside, best opportunity, and yes, he can.
Quintino tried to pass Graf there, but he thought better of it at the end of it. Now Fasheray trying to get back on Pascual. He's diving hard. Pascual's gone wide, but he's kept the place. This could help Protsiuk quite a lot. He's gonna be able to get past Fasheray.
To see he's going to the outside. They're going to go side by side up the hill, and it looks like he might just have the overlap
in front, but he will have the inside. And Zorbach is getting involved. Zorbach is diving. What an attempt! He could have got both, but he only got one of them in the end of it all.
Only P16 there for Zorbach. The Proxy's going to try and get him back up into turn 4 now. Then he tries to have a go, but he isn't quite able to get the overlap on the German unless he could dive it, which he can because Zorbach looks up.
Yeah, I think it's struggling here in Austria this time, I'm afraid.
He has a weaving glitch.
Oh no. The weaving glitch has returned. It just migrated from one host to another. But anyway, Anderson managing to hold out in front of Griffiths, but for how much longer, I wonder.
Luckily,
now Curtis up to third.
A problem with GP2, so I don't think it's going to affect the leaders, that's for sure. As meantime, now Graf trying to have a go at McCarthy. McCarthy defending quickly. Graf going to try and trick him if he can.
Well, he had a pretty good look there, but it wasn't good enough.
Now, meantime, Quintino
it's going to help Quintino.
Trying to have a go at Graf if he can.
He's going to have the outside into Ramos. It's not going to work.
As I think
Zorba continuing to weave, and
Will be
yeah,
one
his chances
corner
of
where
getting points are dead.
yeah, that's for sure. Obviously, not been a good weekend for Zorbak UA. Meantime, the battle for the lead continuing at this point, but Griffiths.
It's not been a good week for Zorbak, the King of Austria, but his teammate. He could pick up the spoils for Carlin. All he has to do is pass Thomas Anderson, but that's easier said than done.
Yeah, he's not been close enough for a while. I don't think Griffiths has to try and pass Anderson. So it's not really worked out well for them at this point.
Maybe he's just waiting, seeing how he reacts, how he defends, before he makes a crucial move. Let's not forget, Anderson's tires are a little bit older, and that is helping Griffiths, because Anderson's tires should wear out first.
Marcelli, meanwhile, trying his best to get by on his meantime. Graf now looking to the inside of McCarthy.
Because Kalovic is... Graf yet again tried the same move, and yet again it didn't work. But this could work from Burns. He got one, he got two.
A double move there for Carl Burns. Up into 7th place goes the American, gets by on Tomaselli and Watterson as a result. I think one of them even locked up as well in the process.
Yeah, I think it was Watterson who locked up. And this was a very well thought out move from Carl Burns, and his comeback is definitely continuing. He's finally getting this season properly sorted out. This will be a great result for him. As now Gabriel Quintino, can he dive past Graf? No, he can't. Having to back out there, the Brazilian.
Yep,
Zorba continuing to weave meanwhile, and I wonder how long it'll take for the leaders to catch up to him at this rate.
So I think Zorbak will have the problem sorted before they get to him anyway. They're too far behind anyway, so they shouldn't get affected. But now Griffiths has got his best chance to take the lead.
He's closer than ever to a 6/10 for most of the time earlier. Now, he's side by side with Thomas Anderson. He's his personal best lap of the race. And can he take the lead? Yes, he can! Yes, he can! The Carlin is up to lead the race. Griffith is taking it from Anderson. And Anderson will have probably one shot to respond here into Remus. He's in the slipstream. Is he gonna send it for a Chucky Biscuit to retake the lead? He's feeling very confident for the inside. He's going for it. What a dive bomb! And he's retaking the lead. Griffith thought he had him. But Anderson, very clever the response. Very ambitious. He's not letting go of the lead that easily.
Good battle between the two. Griffiths now trying to get back at Anderson if he can. Anderson defends the inside.
Not into short call this time. So yeah. But clearly Anderson is feeling the pressure. He felt the need to respond that aggressively to an attempt. And now the fight is well and truly on. Curtis is 14 seconds down on these guys. So I don't think he'll be able to gain onto them. But if these guys keep squabbling like this for much more, who knows? Because we got 11 laps to go, 10.5 laps to go even.
As now Griffiths trying to go through him into the second to last corner.
This could be it! And it's not.
No, not quite. No,
Griffiths will lose time here. It's happened to Patel, it's happened to Galloway before. But thankfully he didn't lose too much time. He should still be in the slipstream of Thomas Anderson. But we'll keep an eye on the gap to Curtis, because that will be an interesting one.
As now we look from the rear now of Anderson as Griffiths just staring at him as best as he can to try and get the lead back off the Swede.
The move isn't going to happen this time around on this lap. He's lost a lot of ground, but with the slipstream, he will gain it in a lap or two's time.
Got a little bit later on the brakes here compared to Anderson and up towards Remus there, so he is trying to get back on and onto him there on the brakes.
I think Griffith is trying his best to make Anderson use up his tires as much as possible, because if the tires go for any of these guys, they'll go for Anderson first, since they're older.
Yeah, indeed. Griffiths obviously stayed out a lot longer than that group that we were with a little bit earlier on, as they now make their way towards.
And I believe Curtis has the same tire age as Griffiths, so his pace will be interesting as well. I think he's got the gap to Anderson a little bit more, but we'll see.
Into the last two turns, Griffiths still not close enough to get back on the prowl of Anderson, although he is closing a bit, but it won't be enough to try and go for an overtake.
Nope. No, not close enough here, and attacks into loud are usually not worth it. Usually. It is possible, as Griffiths did make it work initially, but it's a little bit more tricky than you might expect. Griffiths is staying nicely in the slipstream, and he might be able to line Anderson up for a pass into Remus, or if he's not close enough, which I suspect he isn't, maybe in towards Schlossgold.
Have to see on that, but Griffiths is obviously closer than what he was last lap, so maybe the next time they go on to pit straight.
Actually, it's now, the gap is about 13 seconds now. So Curtis is continuing to gain on this lot.
Whether it'll be enough, I'm not sure, because it is a bit of a task for Curtis to gain onto the top two.
It is doubtful. But Curtis, if anything, he has some clean air, so that'll help him out. Meanwhile, I wonder, Joe, could Max Skillen unlap himself from these guys? It seems like a real possibility.
Well, he hasn't really been gaining onto them much, to be honest with you. I think he's just lapping the same pace as these two at this point. I don't think he's really gaining.
But if they keep fighting, Skillen will try to get his nose in there as well.
Yeah, that's for sure, as they now make their way towards the final corner. And Griffith's closer, but again, I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move. So they might have to wait to rematch.
He might try it nonetheless. Anderson feeling the need to defend, and that's going to cost him. Because look how much better of a run Griffith is getting. He's right onto his gearbox, although his exit from Lauda was much better. So that covers it off. As now Corby up into 9th place, he's overtaken the pole steer Lorenzo Tomaselli. Has to drop to P10 as a result.
And
now look at this. Skillen is much closer, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah. Whether he'll intervene, I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to see. As meantime, now Adventure all over the back of Patel.
It's not been a terrible race at all for Daniel Adventure as he's trying to get past Rahul Patel. But Cal Burns getting involved in this fire as well. Let's see. Adventure is not going to dive it. And Burns wasn't close enough to take advantage either. Curtis is even closer than he was before. The gap is now 12.6. So he continues to gain. I don't think it'll be enough, but who knows? You can't even predict this race anymore after considering how much has happened so far.
Adventure's still giving Patel pressure right now as they make their way towards Roush and Worth. Meantime, the two lead. It looks like they're starting to get away a bit now from Skillen. The two leaders are, as
yeah, indeed. They are a little bit closer to Zorbach, but I think Zorbach, yeah, he's not weaving anymore. But I wonder if Zorbach has the pace to keep these guys at bay until the end of the race. He should do, but these guys, who will win? That's going to be a huge question. With a yet undiscovered answer.
Now.
As Curtis is just 12 seconds down, he's getting out 6/10 in the previous sector. And Griffiths having to slow down here.
Time Burns all over the back of Adventure as they're all having to defend each other left, right and centre here.
But Patel felt the need to go defensive even though he really didn't have to. But he's got a very good exit there. Adventure will be able to hassle him. Though speaking of hassling, Cal Burns might be able to do it. Lorenzo Tomaselli is trying to get on the prowl of Dudu Corby. Can he send it past him? He's attacking the championship leader. He will dive. And Corby goes wide, but manages to keep the position.
Meantime, back with the leaders now. Then Griffiths still putting Anderson under so much pressure at this point as they make their way towards the second to last turn.
6 and a bit laps to go. He's going for it right now. And he had to back out there. It was pretty much impossible from that distance.
Out the final turn, and he doesn't look close enough again to challenge him down the straight. And even if Anderson defends, I think Anderson should have it covered for the first corner. But let's see as they go into rematch.
Defending. That could help him out with the exit a little bit. But we'll see. Anyway, Burns feeling very feisty on the back of Adventure. Now Griffith's going to try on the outside of Anderson. This is probably not going to work. But can he switch it to the inside and dive? No, he didn't think of that.
Comes Burns on the inside of Adventures. It's going to be P6 for the American. Can he get late onto the brakes? And no, he can't. Meantime, the background Kirby on the inside of Watson.
He is taking the move. He's got it. And the championship leader up into 8th place. I'm not sure if he'll retain the championship lead or not. I think he might. But anyway, he's had a good recovery.
Skillen ain't going to gain on him, that's for sure. So,
yeah, definitely
we do have the championship standings in here, by the way, just so you know. It's in the...
Yeah, we do. We just didn't bother to look at them so far. Anyway, look how close Griffiths is to a second sector.
As they go around these cars now, then.
Right. This is a great shot. Can he get past him into turn 8? It might be his biggest attempt yet. Can he get him? Once again, no. What is going on here? We've seen passes at that corner just fine. But it looks like Griffiths can't find the grip just yet.
Closer here, though.
And to 1, we got 5 laps to go. This is going to be a big one. Anderson covering him off, shutting the door. Is Griffiths going to send it nonetheless? Yes, he is. But it didn't work. And now Skillen will try to unlap himself from these guys.
He's got better traction than him, though, so he won't be able to. Meantime, we've got Quintino.
Is 10 seconds down. I don't think it'll be enough for him. Quintino battling with Graf still. And unable to get him here.
Yeah, Kirby, I think, will still lead the championship if it stays like this at the moment. Just double checked.
Yeah, Patel should be in second as it stands, I believe. But we'll see anyway. Curtis, sorry, not Griffiths, is now 9.4 seconds. He's gained a second and a bit in just a sector. So Curtis is really pushing hard, but I don't think he'll have the time to gain. Diving on Watterson onto the exit. Watterson will have a better grip.
Yep, just able to end off there was Watterson. As the lot continue to scrap with 4 and a bit laps to go. As meantime,
8.7, Curtis has gained even further. He's gained like 2 seconds this lap. If he keeps it up, he might be able to catch these guys.
Oh, mistake from Anderson. That was a mistake from Anderson.
Yeah, understeered a little bit here.
It's allowed Griffiths to get... For some reason, Griffiths thought about going to the inside there.
And the only one who's gaining from this is Max Skillen. He's going to try to unlap himself from Griffiths here. Is Griffiths going to let him go? Yes, he is not. No, he is not, sorry.
No, he's not. You need to... Don't jump to conclusions yet until the exit.
Yeah, indeed. So, my bad, Joe. But it looked like Skillen was very feisty. But anyway, and that little error that Anderson made actually ended up helping him pull away. As now Kyle Burns is trying to pass that Adventure.
Got him.
Yeah, nicely done. Up into P6.
Corby
will try to follow suit.
Can he get through on the pole now then as he tries to pick up some more points here today? It's been an amazing comeback from Kirby. It must be said he's looking to the inside of Adventure. Can he dive it up into Remus? No, he can't. Adventure breaking out a little bit later.
But it just didn't work. As now Graf under pressure from a Pascual dive, which is not going to happen.
Nope, as Griffiths has lost time, he needs to gain it back. But
Curtis is just 6 seconds behind Griffiths. If he keeps pushing, he might be able to catch up to him. Griffiths is gaining on Anderson, but at least for the moment, Anderson is safe. It all remains to be seen. I'm not sure, but considering that mistake, his tires are reaching a critical point. So he'll have to be careful and bring it home nicely if he wants to win this race. 3 laps to go. And look on the minimap. Curtis is coming as well in this fight.
Tomaselli now trying his best on Watterson. 1.9 now the gap between Anderson and Griffiths. Can Tomaselli maybe try and move? He's trying to think about it, but no, not going to make the move stick.
I must say, Joe, if Griffiths wants to make the move work, he's going to have to do it on the last lap. It'll be his best and probably only shot.
While Kirby on the inside of Adventures is going to be P7 for the championship leader. He's looking to the inside. Adventure, though, hangs it around the outside and holds on.
Adventure went very wide, but he kept him behind. As now Pascual trying to pass Graf. Will he dive it into turn 1? He will dive, but he will not pass.
Not quite for him there. Then as Tomaselli tries to have a go at Watterson, but again, Watterson covers him off on the run to Remus.
Get closer in the fight for last points paying places. As now look on the mini-map, Griffiths is closer, but how much closer?
It says 1.9 up there, but let's see if he's gained in this sector alone. And it's 1.6 seconds, so...
He'll definitely have a shot before the last lap.
Definitely not over yet for Anderson, that's for sure.
Indeed. He still needs to be vigilant because Jamie Griffiths is coming hard at him. And he'll be trying his best to get him and pass him. 2 laps to go for a race leader. 1.5 seconds the gap is now.
Time Kirby again attacking Adventure for P7. Can he get the move done this time into the second to last turn? Let's see as they make their way into this corner. Nope.
But he can't.
He's going to have to back off. Same with Tomaselli there on Watterson there now. Let's see if Kirby can get Adventure this time.
Close. He's having a big shot here. Let's see if he can pass the dance driver, who is closing the door a little bit. And Corby unable to get him. Both slowed down quite a lot there, I must say.
Let's go on the inside of Graf. Can he get the move done? And no, he can't. Graf just able to hold on for the moment.
The fight keeps going. And doesn't show any sign of stopping. As now McCarthy trying to get himself involved in the scrap for last point. He wasn't able to dive it past him, though.
No, not quite. As meantime, it's
Anderson actually responded. He's gained. It's 1.7 now.
1.4
no, it's 1.4 down. So Griffiths is finally attacking. But is he running out of time, Jamie Griffiths? If he has a shot, it might be right here on the last lap in turn 8.
We'll have to see as Kirby again still attacking Adventure for P7 as we're now onto the final lap.
Yeah, indeed. And Patterson's done a brilliant job defensively when Griffiths did came with the counterattack. But look at this, we got a 4-way fight right here for the edges of the points. 1.2
Heavy
between
on
the
the-
leaders. Griffiths keeps gaining, but it might not be enough at this rate. As Corby tries yet again to turn 8, he can make it work. Tomaselli can make it work. Quintino can make it work. My goodness me. This fight is going to go down to last corner, last lap. As now Corby, for the last time into Lauda, can he pass Adventure? He's going to dive it for sure, but can he pass? Doesn't look like
No.
it. Tomaselli could pass. Oh, he didn't get him. No, Watson keeps him behind.
As the leaders, whereabouts are they? They're just coming down to Roush, but I think Anderson has probably done enough to get the win.
Yeah, I think he's safe. The gap is definitely much smaller, but he's not going to be a threat anymore. It's now Quintino is going to try to dive on his own team in McCarthy, and he has to stay back. But anyway, Thomas Anderson, he's met a challenge in there in the latter stages. But after that little mistake, he pulled a little bit of a gap on Griffiths. He defended and counter-attacked brilliantly. These two guys delivered us a brilliant fight. And after missing out by the narrowest of margins in qualifying, he makes up for it. And Thomas Anderson wins the Austrian Grand Prix. What a drive!
Amazing drive from Thomas Anderson, a much-needed race for him after what has been so far a tricky season for the Swede, and he's actually got his first points of the season.
Yeah, indeed. Griffiths, another podium for him, 2 in a row. Curtis finishes third, very good race for him. Galloway P4, hero of that start. And he managed to hold on nicely to it to take 4th. Patel was 5th. Now we got to fight here, Corby and Adventure. What happened here in 8?
I don't think he was able to get him. I think Adventure has just been able to fend him off.
No. Adventure's going to keep him behind as he crosses the line. And yeah. It'll be side by side, but it's not going to be enough for Corby. Watson takes 9th. McCarthy will only be 11 as Tomasini takes the last point. Pashkol can't pass Graf at the end. Fashray 15th. Rochuk 16th. Nicholas Zurbach, a bad race for him, I'm afraid. His bad season continues. Ever since he won in Bahrain, he hasn't scored much at all. And the King of Austria, he'll be hoping to retake the crown next year because right now, well, it's gone away. And Zurbach, unlucky finish for him. It's P17 only.
Yep, but there is your winner, Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, he's held off Griffiths. And at the end of it all, it was a very, very well won fight. And what a win for Thomas Anderson. Brilliant stuff for both of these guys.
Yep, indeed, and he does get his first points of the season after what has been a tricky start for the Swede. A much-needed race for him, indeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was pretty damn entertaining, if I dare say so myself. And yeah, Thomas Anderson is the race winner here in Austria for the R Grand Prix team. His first points of the year, and they couldn't have come in a better fashion. He was last in the standings, but after today, he'll climb up a lot of places, I'm sure. Here are the official results. It's Thomas Anderson, the winner. Jamie Griffiths, yet again on the podium with P2, missing out on the win by just under a second. Aaron Curtis, great recovery. No, not a recovery. Great fight from him. He finished third, just 7 seconds down. He cut that gap in half to Anderson, and he drove very well to get on the podium. Very well deserved. Very well managed race for Curtis. Jake Galloway is P4. Rahul Patel losing 2 places, but it's P5 for him. Galloway had a brilliant start, I have to say. Best start so far this season out of any driver. Kyle Burns, it's P6 for him, with Daniel Adventure P7. Dudu Corby will sandwich Adventure. It's an Arden sandwich. And Corby P8, the championship leader, retains his lead, but Patel will move up into second and reduce it a little bit. Joel Larson is in P9. He gets 2 points on the board. And we've learned to Tomasini taking the last point in 10th. Just about from Chuck McCarthy in 11th.
Gabriel Quintino finished 12th. Dennis Graf 13th. Thomas Pascal 14th. With Isaac Fashray in 15th. Ruslan Protsuk in 16th. With Nicholas Zorbach in 17th. And Matt Skillen, the last of the finishers, in 18th. And the only one who was a lap down.
Yeah, indeed. Partially because of that weaving glitch. He did try to unlap himself in the latter stages, but in the end he decided to just stay back.
Yep, and the retirements being Bent Valdinger, Thomas Bennett, Marek Kukelevich, and Henry Watzel.
Yep, indeed. And it was a pretty hectic race, wouldn't you say, Joe? What did you think of it?
A very interesting race, it must be said, and a very entertaining battle.
Lap. It's 2 points. He took it away from Bennett. I'm not sure when, but he took it, and it's 2 bonus points now for him for fastest lap. He couldn't get the fastest lap in Portugal to make it a Grand Slam, so he makes up for it by taking the fastest lap today.
He'll get 6 points as a result. But yeah, an amazing race, an amazing battle between Anderson and Griffiths today.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely. What a drive. And before we ask about the driver of the day, we are going to do that, don't worry, but we're not going to do it right now because it's time for something we haven't heard in a while, which is the Swedish national anthem. So here we go. All right, thank you guys. And I was just chatting with Rahul Patel just now during the national anthem. I asked him how he feels about P2 in the championship, and he said it's amazing. He feels confident he can get a top class seat. And Patel, he didn't do much this race. He got beaten in a fight with Galloway, but he was able to hold off Burns, and he'll be happy to walk home with P2 in the standings, I'm sure. But the most happy man of them all will be Thomas Anderson, because after a terrible first few races of the season, he's made up for it with a flashy win. He's fought Griffiths tooth and nail, lost the lead, and gained it back one corner later. And Thomas Anderson, I don't think he could be a more deserved winner. But who is the driver of the day? I want to ask you guys, because Flo, Joe, what's your opinion? And before you go, I'm going to give it actually to Jake Galloway purely because of that start. It was fantastic.
I think I'm going to go with, I'm going to go with Dudu Kirby. He had a poor qualifying he had a poor qualifying yesterday and he's made it back into the points. Not quite the 7th place, but enough for him to keep the lead in the championship, which is what we need in this series.
You make a good point, Joe. I've made my pick, you've made your pick, but we need Flo to decide. What's your pick, Flo?
Well, it is quite a hard race to decide who gets driver of the day because so many drivers actually performed well and comparable. But I think I will give it to Aaron Curtis because he had a very good pace during the race and he actually managed, even though he was held up with the pit stops, that he could get back to close the gap to the 1st and 2nd place.
Well, you make a very good point. I was actually about to say Curtis before I changed my mind to Galloway, but sorry, Jake, I'm gonna change my mind again. I'm changing my vote to Aaron Curtis. So it's 2-1. Aaron Curtis is the driver of the day today.
We could have an indecisive vote for once.
No, that's lame. Let's give it to Curtis.
Anyway.
Well, okay.
Yeah. This was an entertaining race, guys, I'd say. And, up next, actually, I'm going to go play a Hearthstone 4 game with Sam Thompson. I think you know him and a few other people. But, we'll see you tomorrow for the Austrian Grand Prix race where Franco Lopez took pole. And for the top class, it was an entertaining qualifying, just like this race. And, any closing words, Joe, Flo?
Not really much. Obviously, we've got the Austrian Grand Prix tomorrow, which will hopefully be a good one. And hopefully we expect a very good GP2 race next week at Silverstone.
Yeah, we'll see you around at Silverstone. Crazy things always happen there. Just I ask Heinz-Harald Frentzen, who made a shock entry in last year's Silverstone race. Maybe he'll come back, I'm not sure.
And
please give him a Wikipedia page. Flo, no one cares about Thomas Enge, it's just Frentzen. He's the only one we care about.
About the pages.
Yay, great. But anyway, we'll see you around, guys, for the next one at Silverstone. So see you in next week, guys. It's been fun. I've been Rob, he's been Joe, Flo's been the God, and we'll see you around. Take care, guys.